TV sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome to the program. Normally we're at the America First Warehouse. As you can tell, we are not there tonight. We will return to the America First Warehouse next Friday night, the 29th of August, as we make our triumphant return when everybody is back in town. But right now, I am the only one in town. In town.
What about me? I don't count as
Harry
anything?
doesn't count because he's normally never on the show because he's always on the highway.
Jeez.
But Harry just happens to be in town. So we said, Harry, you're going to be on tonight. He
And
says,
I
I
said,
am?
absolutely.
You are. So here he is. Harry on the highway. Welcome. How are you?
Welcome. I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I miss you. I've been on the road for almost 3 weeks.
I know. It's almost as long as what your shirt says there. 250 years, it feels like.
That was from
You're always
the
on the
military parade.
Very nice shirt.
Yeah, nice shirt. Yeah.
Very nice. So Harry on the highway is here. Vinny Mac is we'll call him West Palm Vin from now on. West Palm Vin, how's everything down there, West Palm Vin?
Oh, man, it's so nice down here. I love coming down this way.
All right,
I mean, I love it for a couple of reasons. What's that? It's beautiful. Oh, man.
Because you're down
That hurt.
there and it's beautiful. It appears it almost feels like fall already. But go ahead.
And I'm
What
so
were you saying?
excited for that.
It's beautiful here, and there's a great energy down here, at the Rav Studios with all the people here and all the things going on and watching all the shows being made. I tell you, it's a great energy. Really love it.
All right. Well, very good. So we'll be talking with Vin in just a little bit. As I was saying, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, Dish Network Channel 219, Pluto TV Channel 240, Samsung TV Plus 1175, on the Roku channel as well as Roku TV, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and of course Select TV Channel 106. And as always, we ask you to please follow us on all the socials. Like and share the show. Jump in the chats. The Rumblers over on Rumble do a great chat. The YouTubers as well as the Facebook people and the Twix crowd. We also have the original group, the Getter, the Chatterbaiters over on Getter. You can jump in that group. RapMod3 I saw last night in there. Kick Instagram. If you're going to join us on Instagram, it's LFS6B Show. And of course, since it is a Friday night, as we do Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, live on 103.9 LI News Radio as well. As linewsradio.com. So thank you for everybody who's listening, whatever platform you might be on. Again, the boys are out, except for, everybody's out except for Vin, who is out but he's not here. He's there. He's over there now. He's down in Florida coming in for the show. Harry on the highway stopped by, so we grabbed him, threw him in a chair, and this is going to be the Friday night show. And again, welcome Harry.
ready.
What have you been up to, Harold?
I've been up to a lot of things. We
Tell
built a
him,
new
Harry.
studio in D.C.
Okay.
Absolutely
I've
amazing.
heard. I've seen some pictures.
Yep. In fact, Aaron, if you can throw some up, we'll reminisce from the last 9 days. It's a great studio. It's where everybody is. Fox is there, NBC is there. Mr. Parker and Colin, I got to give them a hands, man. They did it all. They put it together. That room was a server room. It did not exist.
Right.
And if you look at it now, we transformed it into a control room. Beautiful, big, beautiful video wall for all the shows we'll be producing out of there. That's a special that we're going to be doing later on in October. Lost Voices of Fentanyl, which this will be our third year doing that. And it's called Halls of States. It's on 400 North Capitol Road.
Now, what is that? The building you guys are in?
That's the building.
Okay.
So basically,
now is that you said all the other networks?
So
are
Fox
you talking
is
about?
there,
Are they in the
NBC
same?
is there.
Are they in the same?
Literally
building?
in the same. So down on the first floor is NBC. That's where they do Meet the Press. On our floor, which is the 7th floor, is another NBC facility. The floor below us is Fox. C-SPAN's in the building.
Wow.
News Nation's in the building. So we are in the building, and right across the street is the Capitol, which is we're centrally located, which is great. The old studio was down by the White House. And now we're right by the Capitol, which, a lot of the guests obviously are coming from.
Now, are you going to have you started to see an uptick? I mean, with with Brian Glenn and the access that, that Rav has these days.
The access is amazing. I was down there talking with Brian every day, and you could see. I mean, Brian's a superstar. We're getting ready for the big UK trip where Brian and the network is going to.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning some very nice big interviews with some people in the White House in the month of September and October.
But you're not going to give us a clue.
I'm not going to give you a clue. Not going to give, but there's some big ones that are popping up.
Thanks for stopping by, Harry.
No problem.
Don't let it out of the bag.
I thought you were going to give us something good. I mean, John Solomon comes on.
Well,
he's just a friend of the show. He gives us so much more than you just gave us.
John,
you just showed us a server room.
I showed you a server room. And hey, listen, Aaron, do you have that clip of Parker? It was a quick little explanation he gave. So tell us how you did it. How you do it? How did you do it?
Red Bull.
Red Bull.
It gives you wings. Look at that. Holy dude, it's so sick.
Basically, let me tell you.
That guy goes, I'd rather die than configure this.
I said configuration.
You guys curse a lot behind the scenes, huh?
That was probably 4 a.m. in the morning. But let me tell you something about Parker. I've known Parker.
Real men.
I've known Parker since he was 4 years old, right? Me and Rob go back to 1997. We called 6 experts about this wall because the wall was sort of inherited with the space. So 6 people we were calling up. We don't know the wall. We don't know the mechanics of it. And everybody we were calling was saying the same thing. Wow, that's a heck of a wall. A lot of programming. Wow, that's a heck of a wall. It's going to take us through 3 days. So after we finished the entire build and hanging the lights, Parker said, all right, we got to figure out this wall. And literally 13 hours later, he cracked the wall. He figured it out, which is just I guess it was amazing. I couldn't believe it because every one of these people were telling us, yeah, we can come, but it's going to cost this. So we can come and it's going to take 2 days to program. He mapped it out because, a big wall like that is probably the size of the studio. So there's mapping out, there's quadrants. He figured it all out. Right. Besides designing that entire studio.
Well, it looks like a great space.
It is a
and
good
again,
space.
with the growth of Rav, the access now that the network has between Brian Glenn and the other reporters that are getting in and out of the White House and ending up on these trips, like you said, it's a fun place to be right now, isn't it?
It really is. The growth is amazing. I talked to a lot of people at the White House, and obviously I was with MTG on Sunday. She came by to see Brian Glenn's office in the new space, and we were chatting. And even she said, where we were, and I'll never forget the time Rob sent me and Damon to CPAC. I think it was 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Had no idea what CPAC was.
Right.
And we show up there. And we had a little booth that was, little tiny show booth. There was an 8-foot table. We were lucky we can get somebody that did a political coloring book to show up.
Right.
And here we are today, and they're knocking at our doors. Everybody wants to get on Rav. Everybody wants to join Rav. Everybody wants to be interviewed from Rav. I mean, it's just come a long way in a short period of time.
All right, then why am I talking to you?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. I was the only one that can come in on a Friday night. Vin, why is that?
Oh, man. Well, number one, Harry's being modest, but Harry orchestrated the construction and the build of all of Rav Studios. So number one, he's the man behind most of the behind-the-scenes talent we have here, which all of these productions that happen at Rav, the reason it's been able to scale is because we set up, world-class production studios very quickly with great young people that are doing a great job. And I see the numbers here. I'm in a lot of meetings here on the corporate side, seeing the activity going on. We're past people like, Newsmax and Fox. This is not only a growing network, but we are the most targeted network to the MAGA and where really the political party, the Republican political party, is right now. We're the most targeted to that truth and to that audience. And I think that's why we're seeing this. I mean, Brian Glenn, everybody else, Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, Eric Bolling, who I got to see him do his show the last couple of days. Love him. Everybody, just everybody on the network. We got a real laser beam there. And to Harry's point, people want to come on because of that, because we're just putting the truth out here. John Solomon, geez, I mean, it's an all-star team.
It is. And Vin, I think we spoke about this, and Rick, you know it firsthand too. You know, you look at Fox, you look at Newsmax, you got Ruddy controlling them at Newsmax, you had Ailes and all them controlling them on Fox. What you can say, what you can't say. So I saw it the Murdochs, not really Roger Ailes, but the Murdochs. Here, you never see the ownership saying, hey, you can't say that, you can't go down there, you can't do that. You know, again, we can't get out of hand with certain things, but we're not restricted on where to go in our beliefs when we believe something or want to talk
Super
about
supportive.
something. Yeah.
Super supportive. And, you know, the ownership and a lot of the executives here, they're on our social channels chatting with, you know, people watching our shows like we do, you know, every show, every day we do this show, we're on our socials, we're chatting with the audience, they're chatting with each other. Well, our executives are there too, and they're doing that not just to hear what's going on, but they want to participate. And that shows, and to the point that Harry made, that we're doing things right with the freedom to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's hope that continues. And you know what? I'm sure it will, because I feel like what we're doing, you know, my only exposure really is what we do on this show.
Right.
And I know the feel and how we approach things. Is we kind of let it ride a little bit because we have an advantage. We have an advantage over a lot of the other shows because we happen so late in the day. Any breaking news that happens after 5, 6 o'clock is all ours.
Right.
So that's a great advantage that we have by them saying, you know what, you guys can do the show live as opposed to a pre-tape show that they run.
Yeah.
That, you know, you could be the world could be on fire. You put it on some of these networks, and you're staring at something that was taped 3 hours ago. They have no mention of what's going on.
Or they're running and gunning and realize we have to do a live show.
Right.
You know, the late night shows and most of those shows, even Gutfield is filmed anywhere from 5p to 7p.
Right.
Right. So you're right. If there's something breaking, either they got to go live, which they normally don't, or or
the pre-tape show.
They're running a pre-tape show.
Seems very pre-taped and out of step with what's going on.
And it's funny. You think about this network from 6 a.m. in the morning with Steve Gruber till really, till our show at 10 p.m. are all live. Every show is live. Nothing is pre-taped.
It's fantastic.
Right. And I know we got, and Vin knows too, we got some big things that are probably going to be, probably creeping into that 10 to 11 and possibly 11 and 12 hour with other live shows.
All right. Well, we got a lot coming up. We've got, you know what? We have a lot coming up tonight. Let's prove that we are live on a Friday night, shall we? By tackling all the latest news. This one is disturbing. Abreu Garcia has been released from jail. Kilmar.
Yeah.
Released.
I heard that.
Ridiculous. We'll talk about that, but we'll talk about the biggest story in the world. John Bolton, how does it feel, bro? We'll be talking about that. I've got a ton of I went crazy with Bolton clips because there were so many. But we'll do some of that. We'll do all the breaking news. We've got a guest coming up at 9 o'clock. I'll have Vin tell you about him and more with you guys. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there.
I know, but why did they do the raid?
They raided his house and his office. What they're saying in the investigation, starting, or at least what they're telling.
Really?
And other things. Whatever else they come across. They're going to come across stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
I want to give a shout out to our Facebook fans. That's where I'm usually on Facebook. For some reason, that seems to be my home site. But, it's great to see so many familiar names, Ricky Cope and Dawn Gambino, Mona Kelly. And, Mona Kelly, by the way, Rick, she videotapes the TV while you're doing some of your stuff that she likes, and then she posts that on Facebook. So I see, her and her smartphone shooting you, and then, commenting on it. It's really great to see, her doing that.
That's pretty cool.
But so many folks out there. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that. Anything to help get the anything to help get the message out that we're out here doing
I gotta
what we
pop
do.
'em. What else did I have? Oh, you know what? I grabbed something from Rick's thing and I put it on my desk. I'll try those.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was, but I don't have to at least peel them, even though I love pistachios.
Okay.
Oh, man. Get the Milk Duds, please.
Yeah, Milk Duds, peanuts. Yeah,
I could use a box
gotta
of
tell
Milk
you, the
Duds right
past
now.
9 days, it's been, I shied away from fast food almost 5 years ago. And boy, these past few days, it's been nothing but pizza and Burger King and Panda.
You feel it.
What is that? Panda Express is like, whoa. My
You do
body's
feel
like,
it.
gotta
All
come
that
back
fried
alive.
food. All that salt and sodium, that fried food, your system, you feel it. Like
I
it usually
shook my
drags
system
me
up,
down,
man.
you know?
Yep, my system's
Yeah.
all shaken up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
You need to do
brought
like
my
a
daughter
detox.
out to lunch today, and we had a nice Greek salad.
That's great. You need to do that. You need to cleanse the system.
And banana and nuts in Sunshine Blend. Thank you for Slick Rick for donating this.
Thank you, Slick. But if you're going to eat those, you have to put on a pair of his shoes. So there's a
ain't gonna happen.
challenge that goes with that.
So we're going to get Ben on? Hey, Ben, pop your picture up from the control room.
I did not know that.
Ben?
I don't know if Ben can do that.
Yeah, Ben, normally they do that. I think they have a bump camera in there.
All right, you got to clear that with Aaron. Aaron's running. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Joining us live in studio, Harry on the highway, stopping by for a little bit. Also, Vinnie Mac, joining us from the West Palm Beach studio of Real America's Voice. Got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. A lot of stuff. Vin, you did set up what's it called? An interview. We got a live person that's going to be joining us a little bit later. Tell us about this gentleman. What's his name? And what does he do? I sound like Arnold. Remember Arnold when Kindergarten Cop?
Yeah.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? Vinny, tell us. Who is your friend and what does he do?
Look out, there's a bomb in there. That's as far as I go. Mark is an amazing guy, number
Mark
one.
who?
He was Mark Serrano.
Okay.
Mark Serrano will be joining us. He was part of the Trump campaign. He's also got a PR firm. He works a lot with Real America's Voice on a variety of levels. He has great insight and access to Trump and the team there. He's got thoughts on political matters. He does a podcast with another gentleman that is not on our network, but they talk politics as well. So he's very in tune with what's happening. And I want to talk to him about Bolton, Cracker Barrel, a lot of things that kind of been cooking around here that he might have some insight on and share some thoughts. So, and he'll tell us a little bit about Rav too. You know,
Yeah, and from what I understand, he's joining us at 9 p.m., correct?
That is correct. You are correct, sir.
All right, very good. So we look forward to meeting
not know
Mark
that.
Serrano at 9 p.m. at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, hour number 2. In the meantime, let us get to the biggest story of the day as FBI agents this morning, early morning, while he was still in his tidy whities, raided the home of one John Bolton, his Maryland home, and they also showed up at his Washington, D.C. office. The former national security advisor to President Trump, John Bolton, the high-profile probe of allegations that he sent sensitive classified documents to his family from a private email server while working at the White House. Where have we heard these allegations before? That's right. Her name was Hillary. Federal investigators went to Bolton's house this morning at 7 a.m. They should have showed up at 3. In an investigation ordered by FBI Director Kash Patel, and a Trump administration official told the New York Post. Agents later went to Bolton's office in downtown D.C., but did not enter until the judge signed a warrant for that particular location later on in the morning. Of course, Kash Patel posted on X from his account that no one is above the law. That seems to be something that used to ring out from the Democrats ever since Donald Trump took the oath of office. They've been saying no one is against the law. Nobody is above the law. Well, guess what? They're finally finding it out. And it starts with this one. And you know, I was texting with Paul Nolan earlier. Because when I saw this break, I immediately posted it to the group chat, and Paul responded, because I think he's the only one awake at that time. You guys were all snoring. But he was dumbfounded. You know, he was as surprised as I was when I saw that pop. But we were both of the same mind of, this is a DC swamp creature. This could be, as I described it, could be a thread that starts to unravel one of the many sweaters of the swamp creatures, that you start to really see what they've been up to, what they've been doing, and we could kind of get to the bottom of all their misdeeds. Because let's face it, there have been many. We've talked about them. A lot of times we've suspected of them. Never had the concrete evidence, but as Tulsi Gabbard keeps doing, she keeps declassifying, finding documents, declassifying. We're starting to see evidence. I'm not saying it's proof. There's a difference.
Right.
But evidence of wrongdoing by the same people that have been swirling around the toilet bowl known as Washington, D.C. for the last 2 or 3 decades, right?
Yeah. There's no question about that. And I think Bolton was a double agent. Okay.
Yeah.
He
easily
was part of the Trump team, right? Yeah. But double agent. He was in there like a lot of folks were that Trump picked because of Mitch McConnell and other screwballs that he was listening to were double agents. But I love the fact Scott Jennings talked about this today. He said when they raided Mar-a-Lago, Bolton said there's no evidence that there is a partisan motive here. So everybody just calm down and everybody just wait and see what happens. He had that to say then when that was a completely partisan move. We all know that.
Right.
So now you can't now say this is completely partisan, which is what they're saying, and all that other nonsense. And the last thing I'll say on that is, hey, great to be woken up by the FBI banging on your door, huh?
Yeah.
How do all these other people feel that they did that too, that had no reason to do that?
Yeah.
So, welcome to the club there, Mr. Bolton.
Welcome to the party, pal. Now put some pants on. We're coming inside.
Put your big boy pants on.
That's the way it works. Here, we have a couple of those clips. I think this is the one you could be talking about. Vin, when he was talking about, everybody slow down, but he really wasn't talking about everybody slow down because he was making an appearance on one of his favorite outlets, MSNBC. Of course, the bastion of right-wing conspiracy thinking, MSNBC. Here's cut number 8 with John Bolton. And in particular, listen to the way the interviewer frames this question. Cut number 8. Check this out.
There's a couple of different ways that people think about this, and people who are not friendly to the president, who think about what's happened here. And one of them is, Donald Trump, master thief, criminal, running some kind of elaborate conspiracy to bring things out of the White House and keep them secret for potentially for political or financial gain. There are other people who attitude is Trump is chaotic, he's careless, he's not that smart. He took these things almost by mistake, and now he's basically stamping his feet and saying they're mine. I don't want to give them up. Give me a sense of where you think the truth lies with respect to Trump's intelligence, carelessness, and the degree to which he might have brought motive to bear on taking these documents out of the White House and keeping them for this long at Mar-a-Lago.
Well, it's very hard to speculate on motive other than that he liked cool things. He saw things so he wanted to take them, and he was pretty much able to take them, and not just on classified information matters, on all kinds of things that crossed his desk. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
Yeah. So not only does the idiot on MSNBC frame the question with, well, we know he's stupid, we know he's this, we know he's that. What do you think? That's the question. And of course, Bolton doesn't disappoint because that's what he's there for, to bash President Trump any chance he got, because he was, like Vince said, he's a double agent. He's part of the group. He's one of those neocons. It's like, there's no war. He's like Lindsey Graham. There's no war he doesn't love to see or wouldn't like to be a part of. As a matter of fact, he actually admits, Vin, I don't know if you remember seeing this clip. This is cut number 11. Here he is on CNN admitting that, he's been a part of some coup d'etats, as a matter of fact. Check this out, cut 11.
I don't know that I agree with you, to be fair, with all due respect. One doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup?
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places.
Of course not. Not here.
It takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt.
Yeah. So there you have. There you have the guy who's probably one of the hands responsible for a coup d'état or coup d'états around the world, talking about. Well, first off, he wants to make sure that you know that he's done this, then that he should be considered brilliant because he does it. Because Jake Tapper was like, well, you don't have to be brilliant to do a coup d'etat. It's like, no, you do. As a matter of fact, I've been a part of a bunch of them.
It's a dumb comment, number one. That's his first thing. That comment's just dumb, that he's been part of coup d'etats and can't talk about it and all that kind of stuff. Dumb comment number two is about the January 6ers. He knew better than that. But if you pull all of that back, look at a guy like John Bolton that was pro-war for the most part, and look at Donald Trump. Yeah. What have we learned about Donald Trump? We've learned this guy is all about peace. He is probably the most peaceful president we've ever had, in terms of really wanting peace. And he had to deal with a guy like John Bolton who didn't want it, and wanted to confront, right? It's that dynamic is so bad and divisive. I know there's no love for this guy from Trump, that's for sure.
And you know what? And President Trump today said, he thought he was a kind of a mess, but he used him to his advantage when dealing with Putin the first time, because he knew he was a nut.
Yeah.
He knew Putin knew he was a nut. So
it's good strategy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, more on the raid of John Bolton. Gosh, I love it. We'll see you guys in the chat. Join us there. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice, and 103.9 LI News Radio. Stay there.
I love
hanging
this
out,
rabbit food.
Jamming away. What are you eating? You're eating nuts. Whose nuts are those?
Nuts, bananas.
Harry, I'm proud of you eating those nuts and bananas.
Well, it's better than the freaking pizza, and which, by the way, DC pizza. Whoa.
Yeah, doesn't do well.
They put sauce on with a paintbrush. I mean, come on.
Pretty much. And then when I was asking about, Colin wanted pizza yesterday. So I'm like, oh, here we go. Domino's, Little Caesars, something like that. Not that there's anything wrong with them, but,
You mean that Potomac water doesn't make good pizza down there?
So then, the one guy at the office goes, hey, call Albert's. They're good. So I look at Albert's on DoorDash, and oh, my Lord, it comes, and it's like one notch above Domino's.
Wow.
Nothing compared to New York.
Oh, my God. You would think D.C. would have good pizza.
At that point, you might as well just go to White Castle.
It really would have killed me.
White Castle's consistent.
No.
It's awesome.
No, not anymore, man. Not anymore.
No.
I love that stuff, too. But, man, I feel like my whole body breaking down.
Every year for my birthday, I take myself to White Castle.
Really?
Yeah. It's my little tradition.
You are a
because I know nobody else will go with me, so I go by myself. And I hang out, and I order between 6 and 10 burgers, and I just sit there, and I...
Oh, you have a good conversation with yourself. Hi, Rick. How you doing?
Later,
I'm doing
you're
good.
knocking them out. You're knocking them out.
What was funny is that the one that I went to actually had a TV screen. Like, it had a couple TV screens. They were playing. What do you call it? I think Guy Fieri.
Really?
Like a cooking show on. I'm like, why are they playing this here of all places?
Why didn't they play the White? Didn't they make a movie about White Castle?
Yeah,
it was a comedy or something. Yeah, they should have been playing that.
Yeah, it should be on a loop.
Are you talking to yourself there when you're talking? When you go there, you have these long conversations with yourself, or you're just buying yourself dinner. You're treating yourself. You're like on a date with yourself.
Yes, I'm on a date with myself, and I'm a great date.
Your birthday date. Birthday date.
Take myself out for my birthday. It's one of those weird little things I just like.
I love that idea. No, I'll be the first one, and
no, you're not
I get
invited.
this all the time.
No, you're not.
No,
invited.
not to go there.
Okay.
But just to go where I want to go, even if I got to go alone. Just go and I'm going.
Right.
End of story. But next time I'm going to White Castle, I'm going to crash.
You're just not going with me. I won't allow it. I will not tell you what day. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. If you're thinking to yourself, how come they're not at the warehouse? That's a good question. We're not there because, there's only us.
We don't
Usually
count.
Harry's work in the background.
Yeah.
Of the
We could have done it, you and I.
And
we could have
me and Vin are on the stage with 4 others, but those 4 others had other things to do.
You know what? But I agree with Vin. I heard what Vin said. The 2 of yous, not me, could have really, you could have done it.
We could have pulled it off, sure.
Because what I would have done is you would have brought in some audience members to sit with you and chat a little bit, like Joe the Box, maybe Teresa, whoever. You know, we got some great Patriots that are there every week.
True.
Donna.
Yeah, maybe we could have had a rotating seats. That would be like, one break we'll have this person go. It could have been interesting. It could have been a disaster, but it could have been interesting.
Well, we've had disasters before, so
exactly. Regardless, we will be. I'm with Aaron on
disaster.
This one. We will be back at the warehouse, the America First Warehouse, next Friday night, August the 29th. So make sure if you are in the area, come down and join us. Always a great time. Always great people. Great Patriots there. A great place, the America First Warehouse. If you have not been
pretzels. Great pretzels.
Yeah.
Right?
If you have not been there, the decor is just, it's the only place of its kind in the country. So you got to come down and check that out. If you are going to be in the Long Island, near Suffolk County area, feel free and stop by. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts promptly at 8. You're invited. Tell your friends. Tell your mom. Bring her along. And have a good time. It's going to be next Friday.
Tell your mom.
Well, yeah. You can bring a mom. We love moms.
We love moms.
We love dads. We love kids. Bring them all. Bring your dog. Live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse next Friday night. We'll do it live, so join us for that. In the meantime, we were talking. Vin, we were talking about the John Bolton. I almost said Michael Bolton. The John Bolton.
I've been saying that all day.
Related in any way?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Thank goodness.
When a man loves a woman,
Yeah. Well, that could be John Bolton's song if he gets convicted.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
he might be wishing for that.
Right.
Cell block
Exactly.
6.
You might have to hide something after that stash. Anyhow. Talking about stash, that's what they were looking for. I mean, it's a familiar story, right? We're looking for classified documents and basically gaining access to not only his home but also his D.C. office. Turns out he showed up, I guess, later on in the day. Why wasn't he home at 7 a.m.? Oh, I don't know. You might have to ask his wife. She looked a little bleary-eyed when they were knocking on the door.
So
Maybe
he was because I slept very late today. He was not at his own home.
It doesn't seem that way. The way I've seen some of the chyons when they're showing the house,
right?
Says John Bolton arrives home amid FBI raid. So where was he?
I wonder if he was. Remember?
Well, we don't know what they do on their private time, Harry.
No, I'm not going down that path at all. What path I'm going down to is, and it's been said many times, you got Cash and a handful of people that are, handpicked and that are now running the FBI. But you still got all the other 7,000, 8,000 employees.
Exactly.
I wonder if he was tipped off.
Tipped off?
Not to be home. Just
could
saying.
be, but you know what? I don't know. I feel like with something like this, because we did not hear about it.
It was held.
I think it was held very tightly.
Right.
We did not hear about any leaks. We did not hear, there's a big, something coming up. The CNN wasn't the first to report this.
Was there anybody there? I mean, what were the cameras?
It looks like Fox may have been the first ones there.
Okay.
So, as for that, I can't really say. But when you talk about,
I remember with Roger Stone, and the reason why I remember that one is that was one of the first shows we were producing right here in this studio on the network, AVL Live, and our executive producer at the time arranged for Roger Stone to be a guest, and I believe we went live at 1:00.
Right.
That morning, I get a phone call. Okay, we're not going to have Roger Stone. They raided his house at 5 a.m.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
And the news crew was there, and that's why I'm getting to the point. CNN was there waiting,
right? Because they got tipped off.
It was a raid,
right? I don't think, or if
so, you're saying Fox came after.
If anybody, I didn't say that. I said if anybody was tipped off, it was Fox.
Okay. Because
it seems like they were. It seems like they were the first ones there.
Okay.
And that's the first video images that I was able to see.
Right.
It could have been somebody else, but it looks like it was them. But at 7 a.m. Who knows? But, you mentioned Kash Patel. We talk about him and the work that he's doing, him and Dan Bongino over the FBI, and of course, Tulsi, what she's doing. Yep. But here's, you know what? It's John Bolton night, so we're celebrating. Let's bring out all the old John Bolton clips and see what the old mustachio mullah has to say about this one. He seemed to be very concerned about one Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, and he made his feelings known here in cut number 9. Check this out for yourself. Maybe he's a little bit of he's got that sixth sense that, maybe they might uncover all the shenanigans I've been up to. Here's cut number 9. Check this out.
I thought there were a trio of Trump nominations here that were really in a category by themselves, not just incompetent, but dangerous to the United States. One was Matt Gaetz. He's gone. The remaining 2 are Tulsi Gabbard and Kash Patel for the FBI. Not only are they not qualified, they have done things through the course of their career that show they don't have the judgment or the character, frankly, to hold such sensitive positions. I think this is a real danger for the United States in both cases. I think in Tulsi Gabbard's case, she said things and done things that show a lack of judgment that should keep her as far away from classified information as possible.
Yeah. You sit on a throne of lies, my friend.
He says they're not qualified because they're not qualified to toe the line.
Right.
They're qualified to be smart, honest, disruptive people. And you had mentioned about CNN showing up on that raid many, many years ago. They were tipped off. They were there when they showed up to the raid. So when the left does something, they coordinate that with the media and everybody else. And can anyone say Butler, Pennsylvania, the only Trump rally they covered? I mean, these things, I just feel like they're just not coincidences, even though I don't think they knew that he was going to get shot.
No.
But they certainly are always tipped off to go do things in a disgusting way. I give credit to our team now in this raid because the media wasn't there before they showed up. They might have showed up at some point after, but it's not like they tipped them off and said, we're going to be at John Bolton's house at 7 a.m. They get there at 6:50 so they can capture the FBI going in, right? That didn't happen, and that does not happen with our folks. They're just honest. At the bottom line, or way more honest than these other left-wingers that have been running things.
But Vin, what was very telling about that clip was how he was very nervous. He doesn't like Kash Patel. He doesn't like Tulsi Gabbard. He also mentioned Matt Gaetz, but he's gone. So they were able to dispatch Matt Gaetz because they didn't like him either because, like you said, they're not one of them. They wouldn't toe the line. They're not qualified to hold these positions because, well, they don't do the same things we do. Which is exactly why we voted for this, right? Yeah. Because they're not going to do the same things.
They would also be more forthcoming in calling people out of things, as opposed to playing the political game, sowing your seeds so you can be in the payday stream. How are they all getting rich, right? Let's talk about NGOs and all that stuff. So there's so many great movies about this, and they talk about information. You have information now. You've got a chip in the game. You can go exploit that for something positive. Our folks just don't seem to be dealing like that. Any of the folks, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Matt Gaetz, even all of them, they're just seeing something and saying, well, that's not right. We're going to go after that. And this is just the beginning. Yeah. This raid is just the beginning. They have not even... That now things are in motion, though, right? Rick, you and I were talking about this many times about Pam Bondi, and we're getting a little frustrated. And all of a sudden, all those 7 months of development and research and things that they're doing, well, I think every week, every 2 weeks, we're going to see something here. Maybe not a raid, but we're going to see something. Grand jury indictments, all that stuff.
I mean, just look at the way they've kind of... They've kind of plowed the field, so to speak, and gotten it ready, right? They've been talking about it.
Exactly.
They've been talking about, there's work going on behind the scenes. Bongino's talked about it, work behind the scenes. Just because you guys haven't seen anything yet, trust us, we're working on it. And now we're starting to see some of the seeds that they planted. They're starting to poke through the dirt, as they say, right? And we're starting to see some of this stuff come to the surface. And you know what? I'm not unhappy with John Bolton being the first one raided. I'm pretty okay with that. Yeah. Because again,
I was surprised.
Same with me. I was completely surprised. I didn't see that one coming. But I think what it does, and see if you agree with me, it kind of softens the blow, right? If they went immediately after Hillary or immediately after Obama, people would be up in arms. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Let's go after John Bolton. He's a couple levels down from that top, but he's still swarmy enough that people think, I don't even like, being near the guy. Let's go after him, right? And so
I think it's information gathering,
right?
Going after Bolton
and
for the things you just mentioned.
And then you take the temperature. It's like, how are people receiving this? This is pretty good. They're pretty on board with Bolton because they think he's a D-bag too. Okay, good. Where do we go from here? Well, now you start looking up the chain a little bit. Who's a little swarmier?
Yeah.
Who's a Democrat? James Comey, right? Yeah, we got James Comey. We got all his stuff. As a matter of fact, he seems a little nervous lately. Him and Clapper and all those boys. Yeah, we'll be talking to them pretty soon, I think. I feel like they've kind of, like I said, they prepared us. They've been preparing us this whole time. So we're not inundated. Right. So we're not blown away. So everybody goes, oh, my goodness, I can't believe what's going on. And they think the sky is falling, right? They think the whole world is crumbling. No, let's just get them ready. It's what Hollywood does to us.
Right.
Why do you think there are so many alien movies? Because they're getting us ready, damn it. Now what comes flying past Uranus? That thing, the size of Manhattan, is flying past Uranus on its way to us.
I knew aliens were going to make it into this conversation at some point. You might have suspected John Bolton's an alien. Yeah, just a theory.
Yes, it's a theory.
Just a theory.
But let's face it, they're getting us ready, right? They're getting us ready. Here we go.
Does that mean also The Walking Dead?
It could be. We could have zombies.
We could have zombies.
Have you seen the people in Philadelphia on the train?
True. Yeah. I've seen the people in D.C. walking the streets. Walking the streets.
No, they didn't walk. They just kind of stopped.
Just terrible.
And just freeze.
I mean, it's funny. A couple of nights I wanted to leave early, and Colin and Parker are driving through. And for me to say, I really don't want to walk alone. And literally our hotel was 2 buildings away.
Wow.
But
that bad?
Besides, all joking aside, that bad. You know, you don't want some guy. There were a lot of crazies. We were a block away from Union Station. There were protests going on every day in front of our building, from the Palestinians basically saying that we're starving out, Palestine and Gaza. So there was anywhere from 20 to 150 people every day.
You know what you should have done? Run out of your building, rip your shirt off, and be like, free everybody, and just run. And people be like, whoa, stay back from this guy. If you have a little extra sweat, maybe pour some water on you, let the hair on your chest kind of get all wet. They'll be like, ew, I don't want to touch that guy. But you would have ran right to your hotel. You'd have been fine.
Maybe.
Save Ferris. Ferris.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the John Bolton, unless, of course, you still want to talk about it.
Keep going.
We'll check into the chats and see what you guys are up to. I do also have, I mentioned James Comey. We got some James Comey clips. Also, J.D. Vance, as well as a couple D.C. residents talking about how they feel, what Harry was just talking about. We'll get to that in just a little bit as well. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on 103.9 Long Island News Radio. We'll be back. Stay there. Let's see. Al Fuller in the Rumble chat, Harry, says, how come Harry doesn't have his own emotional support doll like everybody else?
They don't ever bring me anything. And nobody boxes or gives me any gifts at all. Whoops.
Do you want one of mine?
No.
I have an extra.
You have an alien?
Oh, actually, this is yours.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How do you know? It doesn't say Harry.
Yeah, it's on it. Look. It says Harry, please enjoy.
Okay.
Play it.
Well, thank you.
Play the game.
There it is.
Oh, it really says for Harry.
Oh, yeah.
Who was nice enough to drop this off?
We forgot.
Well, thank you, whoever thought of me and sent that. I'm guessing these other Buckies came too.
Yeah, Philip Huff mentioned something we're going to talk about when we come back on air, which is the Pentagon fired that general who leaked that controversial information on the Iran strike.
Vin, have you gone to Elizabeth's yet out there?
I haven't gone yet, but I went by it, so I know it seems like a place that I might want to go in.
I'm dead again.
You're dead again?
I'm dead again. The batteries were dead.
Whatever batteries you can find, use those. Here, try these. He did. He put the 2-minute batteries.
Did you go over there yet, Vin, or no?
Hey, Vin, is there anything you want to... I'm going to come to you first, okay?
Oh, sure. Okay. I haven't gotten there yet, but I went by there, and there's just so many good places down here.
Block out.
So many.
I got no IFB.
Oh, you can't hear? A lot of people do that purposely so they don't hear me. So
maybe these are good.
They're all half used in here, Fran. They're all single bars.
This is going to die any second.
Howdy on the YouTube.
Yeah, you gotta get something there, Harry.
Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. If you've noticed, if you're just tuning in, of course, Big D is out taking his kid up to college. We've got Paul Nolan is out at an event. Slick Rick has got his big Holbrook Carnival all weekend long. If you are in the Long Island, New York area, and you want to come down and check out a great carnival, it's the 30th year that they've done this. They got a great website you can go check out. It's amazing. It's a 4-day carnival, and he's kind of the grand poobah over there. It's an amazing thing that they set up. It's the 30th annual Holbrook Chamber Carnival and Festival, one of the biggest here, I guess, on Long Island. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool. They've got live bands, they got rides for the kids, contests, fun for the whole family, it says. And it's being held right here in Holbrook, New York. So if you do have the opportunity, it's supposed to be nice out here this weekend, come take advantage of it and go Slick. You're going to see Slick Rick. He's going to be out there.
Oh, you can't miss him. I've been there a bunch of times. I used to bring my daughter. He would give us tickets when she was 8 years old, 5 years old. We've been going for a long time, 30 years. And there's Rick. Can't miss him. Walking around, making sure everything is
He's probably got balloons on his shoes.
The only time I actually saw Rick during the day, one day in the carnival, in shorts. In shorts?
That's a scary sight to think about.
Which was a scary thing.
That's impossible.
So if you are around, of course, that is an option too this weekend. And Vin is down in West Palm Beach. So Vin, what's been on your radar aside from the obvious John Bolton?
Yeah, I got a few other things outside of Bolton, but first, 2 quick shout-outs. I was asked to mention something from one of our top executives here at Real America's Voice, and that is to thank all the people in the chats who are talking about Real America's Voice and helping to support us. It was a one-to-one personal shout-out from a very important person here at the network saying, hey, make sure you let the folks know. We really appreciate that. So I'm passing that along, and we do. We really appreciate your activity in the chats. And I also want to give a shout out to Andrea and Rambo, new viewers watching us. They just messaged me, and on a Vizio TV. I think we're installed on those TVs
nice.
now.
Yes,
so, hey,
we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you got to love that. So, and they said I'm looking pretty good. They said the Botox is working, the chin implant going, everything's going well. I like that. But Delgado, do you remember last night when we were talking about the Trump's move in D.C. using the National Guard?
Yes.
And I said, I think he's setting the table here. And then there was, we were like, hey, I'm not so sure about that. He can't go into these other cities and blah, blah, blah. Well, Trump came out today and he basically said, hey, this is a test for the other blue cities, which are not getting crime under control. He used the word, this is a test. And it's what I thought he was up to all along, which is let me take D.C. where I can go do this. It needs it, but let me clean this up and let me send a little warning signal out to the rest of the country and these blue cities that I might just come in if you can't clean it up. So you better clean it up. And I love that. So he came out with that test idea, a little vindication.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
You
on
really
that
went
one.
there? You went there? Really? Please don't make that a T-shirt. Please do.
Oh, I love that idea. I love that idea. Vindication. I did not know that.
Actually,
Yes.
you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because I think he may have also said, and I may, I'm not quoting him verbatim here. I think he was also kind of throwing it out there to the citizens of the city, right? Because he goes, I know the mayors probably don't want me to come around. He goes, but it's not about that. I think he was talking about the city, like making a plea. Hey, citizens, if you see what we're doing here and you like it, let your officials know. That I got we can take this show on the road, basically.
Oh, it's funny that you bring this all up because again, I was in D.C. and I was running. I'm not going to say the name.
Yes, we know, Harry.
I know. And I'm not going to say what stores I was in, but I was in a major mall, and I was in a major electronics place, and I'm walking in, and normally there's a security guard at a lot of these stores, but then I'm walking a little bit deeper.
Now, when you buy stuff there, is it the best?
It's the best.
Oh, okay. I thought so.
And there's a gentleman there. He was a
Vindication.
Their vindication. The Capitol Police, full vest, full shotgun. So I'm like, whoa. So I'm checking out, and I'm talking to the clerk, and I said, a little bit of an overkill? And he looked at me, and he said, no. He says, you have no idea, since he's been here for 2 weeks, you have no idea how many people would come in, grab something, look at us in the face, and walk out the front door. And what are we going to do? We're not going to go after him.
Right.
He says it has stopped. They've had no theft in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So and then I walked to this other store in the mall, had to get a hammer. And same thing.
Was it in the morning?
It was... And then I'm walking in.
I
had to get some wood too while I was there. But talking about the morning. But and once again, there was a Capitol Police cop with not just a gun, a rifle, in full bodysuit, just sitting there, watching and observing.
Fantastic.
And I said the same thing. I was walking down the aisle. I couldn't find something. I said, hey, a little bit of overkill. And he looked at me and he says, no. And I'm like, okay. So it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. Now, the area we were in, unfortunately, on the street, there, I had a few people that were texting me, hey, is the military going up and down the street, sort of like when I was there in 2020.
Right.
And I said, no, I have not seen any military up and down the streets. But in certain areas, could have used some more police presence.
Yeah, no doubt.
Certainly in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Hey, so Vin, now, where does that leave you? Now, what are you thinking about that?
What subject you talking about? The
wood
retail
in the morning
stores
or the guns?
If you're talking about the retail stores, I was in D.C. not too long ago, and I was in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, not too long ago, and I forgot a razor in both occasions, and I went in to get one, and everything, either the shelves are empty or they're all under lock and key, and you just can't get anything. And you're in a convenience store where you want to walk in, you want to pick something and get out, and you couldn't because they were just sweeping and stealing everything and allowing it. That's why they're all going out of business. CVS, Walgreens, and Target in those markets is terrible.
Well, I was
glad
in
to
a
see
CVS.
what they do in D.C.
Well, that's what they did in California, though.
Yeah.
They actually changed the law to make it so you could steal up to, I think, $1,000 before they would be like, well, now it's a crime. So, if you got guys going in there, they can go into a CVS, they can make 3 trips without getting to $1,000.
Right.
Right?
And it's funny, I was in a CVS. I had to pick up Q-tips. They were behind lock and key and behind a glass.
Yeah.
I had to get the clerk to open it up to get me a box of $3 Q-tips.
Right. Meanwhile, you're standing there with a hammer that you just picked up at 2 a.m.
In my bag,
Right. Just crazy.
Well, think about this big picture, though. Think about this for a second, the logic chain of that particular dynamic. here is the left, and we have basically said stealing is illegal, right? Stealing something's a crime. If you steal something from a store, it's a crime.
Right.
If you come into this country illegally, it's a crime. In both instances, they've said, well, stealing is not really a crime unless you steal more than $1,000 worth of stuff in this store. And they're also saying, well, coming here illegally is not really illegal unless, maybe there's some extenuating circumstances. It's like they take the laws of our country and they decide, well, it's not really a law or illegal unless it goes to like this extent. And the answer is no, it's not. You go through a red light, you've gone through a red light.
Right.
If you steal a candy bar, and I remember the days when we were kids, I think maybe somebody stole a candy bar or something like that. We got busted. And, you get in trouble for a candy bar.
And it used to be they held you there. Yep. And called your parents.
So your parents came.
And your parents came down, and the police will look at you and be like, looks like you got more problems than me. Because usually if dad shows up, and this is, back in the day, dads didn't play.
That's when parents were parents.
Yeah, parents were parents. Dads didn't play, and I remember a friend of mine. He was in jail. He got picked up for drinking, underage drinking, and the cop was like, do you want me to leave you in here a little longer? He's really mad. So, you have that. Yeah. That's the way it used to be. Maybe we need a little bit more of that.
I never did any of that.
Of course you didn't, Vin. You've been vindicated. All right, we'll take a quick break. Fast first hour.
I am definitely going to use that.
We got a special guest coming up at the top of the hour. Mark Serrano will talk to him. Vinny Mac will be back as well, live from Studio 6B. Stay there. He's eating this whole 20-ounce bag of Rick's nuts.
It's better than the Hershey candy bar. Mr. Mark!
Where is he? He's in what? Preview?
No, he's not. I don't see him. Oh.
Rick, you want to do the intro? You want me to do the intro? How do you want to do it?
Well, I'll open, but yeah, you can intro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, on one of the segments.
Now, is he with him in the studio there or no?
No.
Oh, he's in.
No, he's in DC.
Oh, okay. And Harry's here chomping away in my ear. How much time we got? We got about a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Can he hear us? Damn it. I'm kidding.
Does he want some nuts?
No, he doesn't want your nuts, Harry.
Not my nuts, then.
Stop eating it.
Imperial Nuts Sunshine Blend. You got to get more of these.
Goodness.
These are good.
Are you done? Now go wash your hands.
Well, I want to stay on and see Mark, otherwise I would.
All right.
But you do have a lot of nuts if this is your seat for Monday.
Oh, my goodness.
On the floor. I will.
I think that's self-explanatory.
We don't see him for weeks, and then he shows up, makes a mess, and leaves.
I'm not
and stole Rick's nuts.
Yeah.
Slick. I went through all these batteries. Oh, that's a big thing. Good
As
luck.
everybody out in the chat, Mark Milner saying great show. Rick,
Chat.
What happened to Harry and I over here, huh?
Live in the chat. What happened?
What else we got? Mike Milner just saying great show, Rick. Rick, you got a lot of people out here saying good stuff, man.
Well, thank you.
That's
start
good.
paying attention.
It.
Yeah, well,
Appreciate
okay. Well, of course.
Red
Debbie
Dog
Borders
65.
agreeing with me.
You know what? I am going to start a podcast, Red Dog 65. I've been thinking about it. I've been.
If your television sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B.
Wow. Who knew he was watching?
Why
Excuse me. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. Dish Network Channel 219, Pluto TV 240, 1175 on Samsung TV Plus. Now, we're on Vizio too now, Harry.
We
you
are.
said?
Yeah.
Do we know how people? Is it an app already installed on the TV?
It's an app already installed.
All right. So if you have a brand new or one of the newer,
we pop up
Vizio TVs, you can pull up Real America's Voice and you'll find us there. That's always great news. We expand the platforms that we're on and get more reach for the network and the show in particular. You can also find the show, of course, online. Follow us on all the socials: Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Kick, Getter, Instagram, LFS6B Show, and of course on all of the socials. Make sure you like and share. And if you're listening in your car, that means you're on 103.9 LI News Radio, linewsradio.com, anywhere around the world at any time. Let's get to it, shall we? Vin has set up a spectacular guest for us this evening, a political rock star that he was able to secure because he knows everybody. Vin, why don't you introduce our guest for tonight?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It's a gentleman I've gotten to know over the past few weeks since the amount of time I've been spending here and with Real America's Voice Corporate and so on. Just an absolutely brilliant guy. Everything he seems to touch is really on target. His name is Mark Serrano. He is the president of Proactive Solutions, and he was a former senior advisor to the Trump campaign. Ooh. And I want to extend a warm 6B welcome to Mark for joining us tonight on Live from Studio 6B. Mark, how are you doing, buddy?
Wow, holy smokes. Guys, let me call my wife. I got to tell her to watch the show now because from Rick to Vin, my buddy Harry's there. Fellas, you're too good to me. Thank you.
Well, Mark, welcome to the show. First time joining us. So now we'll call you friend of the show, Mark Serrano.
He's always been
awesome.
Forever.
Awesome,
that'll be part of your moniker.
And I'm a regular viewer, by the way, a regular viewer, fellas.
Really?
You're killing it. I love this show.
Well, thank you.
Love this show.
And welcome aboard. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself, because as Vinny says, you got quite the resume there of political stature.
Yeah, I actually started my career as a young guy in presidential campaigns. I worked for a presidential candidate back in the 1988 race and kind of grew up in politics, got into strategic communications consulting for a lot of years. And I actually didn't work for campaigns through 25 years of my business. I did mostly corporate work until 2015 hit. And then May 6th of 2015, I got a meeting in Trump Tower and said, let's go. Washington, D.C. is totally broken. Democrats and Republicans have destroyed this country. And so, yeah, I've been honored to be a part of the sort of the Trump movement, an OG, if you will, since the very beginning. And I will also say with it's a great honor that I'm a regular contributor to other shows on RAV, and I've been an advisor to RAV for 5 years. So
wow.
I'm almost a RAV OG.
Yeah, yes. Sounds like it. So now, were you there? So were you there in the in Trump Tower when he came down the escalator? Was your meeting with him before that or just after that?
It was before that. It was before that. I was in Washington that day when, the infamous day down the escalator. But I helped the team sort of build out their early operations. And, look, I knew we were going to have a chance at, taking over Washington. And I just knew that Donald Trump was going to be able to command the media in a way that Republicans were incapable, and also message to the Rust Belt in a way that Republicans were totally incapable of doing.
Right.
I mean, he has reshaped American politics because he's got guts and he's got gusto, and he has taught us how to fight back, punch back at the corrupt media, and the establishment that has destroyed this country.
Yeah, and what's amazing about that, and I'll let Vin jump in next, is the fact that, you're talking about messaging and reaching the people and being able to, touch the electorate in a way that others can't, from a guy who's been a billionaire, right? He's been basically in the public eye since like 1980, but still has that kind of blue collar feel to him. And you know, we were talking about,
that's who he appeals to.
Right.
Exactly, Rick.
And we were talking about this last night that, you know, I remember seeing a clip of Trump. I think it was in the Oval. He was talking to somebody that somebody was doing an interview with him, and they said, you know, you're really shaking things up. And this is during the first term. And they said something like, you know, you're really causing a storm. He goes, I am the storm. And it was like,
yeah. And Rick, you know what? Here's what the elites don't understand. They don't understand the basis of this movement. And that what Donald Trump achieved in 2016 and again in 2024, frankly, is getting people who don't typically vote or vote irregularly to show up.
Yeah.
And it's because these people were pissed off at Washington, and they had every reason to be, because Washington elites have abandoned them, the working men and women of America.
Yeah, they didn't listen, and they were tired of not being listened to. And another thing that I think you know, we can attribute to President Trump is not only exposing the media for their corruption and basically their lies, basically, but also, you know, you call it the Great Awakening. He's the Great Awakener, right? He's kind of shaking a lot of people up, going, yeah, I guess I never really thought about it that way, and it gets you to look at things and be like, holy crap, they've been doing this to me the whole time.
Yeah, look, I'm as cynical as they come. I was back in 2015. I was cynical about Washington and the establishment. But look, even I didn't appreciate how corrupt the media are, how corrupt the deep state is. And so he really has opened our eyes. He's helped us appreciate that this system is rigged against regular Americans.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Vin, Now I know you would set this up, so I'm sure there's a few things, especially culturally, you know, because you talk about President Trump, he also crosses that Rubicon when it comes to cultural stuff that nobody else seems to be able to do on the Republican side, right?
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I was curious about Mark's perspective, and there are some things I wanted to ask Mark as well outside of this, was the first term. You know, when Trump did come down and all the things that you mentioned that made that dynamic and all the resistance he had in his first term, he still accomplished a lot. But today, him as president, his cabinet, to every person around him that he has now working with him, I see a dynamic shift in how the public is viewing the media's treatment of Trump. And from a communication standpoint and a strategist standpoint, what are you seeing? What are you seeing as the material changes between that last run and now?
Oh, yeah. The big difference is that, unfortunately, the president was still a captive. The administration was a captive of the establishment in the first administration. And a lot of mistakes were made back then. What we see now, Vin, is this is a transformational era. I mean, can you imagine a greater time to be alive than right now? And frankly, a greater platform than Rav to capture this moment. This is just astounding what's happening right now because of his power. You know, and it's not just about the popular vote and the swing states that he swept. It is the reaction from the American public and the mandate they've given him. It's remarkable power that he's leveraging brilliantly. And look, I was never much of a John Thune fan. But John Thune and the speaker, they're doing a heck of a job. I mean, they're bringing the Republican caucus around each time, and the president is wielding his power brilliantly. And like you said, Vin, the media, I mean, there's such a comeuppance for this media, this corrupt media, that now we, Rav, we've got a front row seat everywhere. Air Force One, the Oval Office, the White House briefing room, everywhere. Who would have imagined such a thing, that this White House has turned the head of this White House press corps like this? It's incredible. And so I think some of the real winners are Rav viewers. They get to see everything from the front row.
Yeah, that's so well said, because they are part of the winners, and we've got a great truth-telling network here. But I do know that you and I probably have a high appreciation of food, and I know there's something you wanted to talk about regarding food and a food chain. So tell us what your thoughts are on this whole Cracker Barrel thing, because it seems to be a pandemic of brands trying to figure out how to be whomever they're supposed to be, through, all these transitions going on in the country. We saw what happened with American Eagle, right? Amazing what happened with American Eagle, by the way, because 4 years ago, they would have been boycotted and they would have been out, and all of a sudden now they're selling out. What do you make of Cracker Barrel?
Yeah, and Vin, you've got just a huge history of working with major companies like this. If I were to look around this week and I think to myself, okay, who's dumber than Democrats fighting against crime fighting in Washington, D.C.? Who's dumber than that? Let me see. Oh, it's the CEO of Cracker Barrel. That's who's dumber. So in response to them seeing a 15% decline of traffic in their stores, 657 stores nationwide, the brand was founded 55 years ago, based in Tennessee. They're in 43 states. They saw a massive decline in traffic. So what's their answer? To kick the old man off the cliff from their logo. The old man in the rocking chair, he's basically, he's basically saying, hey, folks, come on in. There's plenty of room on the front porch for everybody. What'd they do? They just pushed him right off the shelf. Yeah. And now they have this bland, pathetic, they might as well put a bag over his head. They have this bland, pathetic logo that says nothing. It doesn't harken back to their history or Americana or culture. You know what it's like going into Cracker Barrel. It's fun. They've got the retail store up front where you can play with all the little toys. You wait in line for a little while. You go back and have chicken and dumplings with gravy. It's like big iced tea.
I love that.
Yeah. It's fun. It's a great slice of Americana. You know that Trump voters love Cracker Barrel, by the way. Yeah. So Julie Massino, the CEO, what does she do? She says, you know what? We got to fix this traffic problem. And the best way for us to do it is to abandon our hard-earned brand. We're going to get rid of Grandpa off the front porch and have a stupid, bland logo. And by the way, guys, we're going to spend $700 million with this makeover. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
Unbelievable.
A corporation spends $700 million to basically destroy their brand identity. She is the only people dumber than her are Democrats against Donald Trump's crime fighting.
Well, you know what, Mark, real quick, I think the only one that could probably save Cracker Barrel at this point is Sidney Sweeney. So maybe if they switched over there,
that would be great.
That'll get Grandpa back
Rick,
in that.
You should be in marketing, man. You should be in marketing. That's brilliant.
Thank you. I'll be here all week trying to fish. Vin,
I have another thought though.
We've only got about a minute left. Can you hang a little bit with us, Mark? All right,
got it,
very
guys.
good. So Mark Serrano is going to continue to hang with us. Join us in the chat as well. We'll take a quick break, but we appreciate. We got a brand new friend of the show, and maybe in the future we'll see if we can get him up to the America First Warehouse.
Oh, that'd be easy.
There, Harry.
That's easy.
So there you have it. All right,
nice.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back more with our guest Mark Serrano, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice. Stay there. Chat live in the chat.
Mr.
Mark, this is one of the things. What's that?
Mark
Good. Yeah,
stopped
Harry, you're
into
looking
the
good, buddy.
studio, and I was doing a Best Buy run.
I know. I'm looking at this video wall that's all black, and Parker's crawling underneath the carpet and trying to figure stuff out. And I thought, wow, when this thing is lit up, it's going to be magnificent.
Did you see the video of it lit up?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
it's crazy.
It's beautiful.
Crazy. Sick job.
I was just about to text you that, Aaron. Great.
Mark, one of the things we do with this show a lot is between commercials, we're all talking to the audience on Facebook and Twitter and all the other various social channels. We're chatting with them. They're chatting with us. They're chatting with each other. It's a great,
Great
feature that we're
communities.
able to do because we can do
That's
this
awesome.
when we break.
It's this.
Yeah.
Well, I love being a part of the sideshow with all the warriors in Getter and on Twitter. Awesome, everybody. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're saying there's a lot of comments here about Cracker Barrel, about maybe having the guys at Cracker Barrel start to sell Budweiser. I want to mention that. I think that's a good idea. I like Rick's idea, of course. That was the best one.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. She seems to be on a tear.
Well, think about it.
Roses.
Every brand every company that destroys their brand should just hire her. She can make a whole business out of it.
Right.
That's true.
Brilliant.
I mean,
She's the brand saver.
How long is that CEO gonna last with Cracker Barrel? I mean, if I was the board, I'd get rid of her. I mean,
she was brought in. She was brought in 2023, and it's her idea. She's spending $700 million.
Oh my goodness.
So I give her 6 months.
Yeah. Unlike the government, you fail in business, you get fired.
Right. They should get rid of her.
Yeah, gone.
Can't hear her.
Especially because of all the
was
bad press. Think about all the bad press. Usually you want good press. She's just getting them bad press.
If Pete Hegseth was the chairman of their board, she'd be gone.
Yeah. Very quickly.
But I heard they tanked in the stock market today.
14%.
How could you keep somebody like that there?
And then you couple that with, again, all the bad coverage they're going to get, and people are going to be like...
Well, her thing is, I was reading something on Fox Business, and she was saying, well, that's what the people wanted. We were doing surveys, and that's what our audience wanted. That's what our customers wanted. It's like, really? I don't think so.
Who are they talking to? Who are they surveying? I mean, it sounds
live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice and 103.9 LI News Radio on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. Harry and the Highways hanging out in the studio. We got Vinnie Mac down in West Palm Beach. And, of course, joining us from Washington, D.C., new friend of the show because he hung out through the chat, listened to our nonsense, even talked to Harry. That's huge. Mark Serrano, political rock star Mark Serrano. Thank you again for hanging with us through the chat and for one more segment. We appreciate it, man.
You guys are great. Heck, I even got an invitation to America First Warehouse out of the deal.
Yes.
I'm in.
You're having a big night, Mark.
And Mark,
big night for you
we're
tonight.
having a big event. I'm going to leave it to Big D on Monday to announce, but the weekend of the 12th and the 13th, Friday and Saturday, it's going to be huge.
Now it's September
12th
and the 13th.
So
now those are 2 days.
2 days, starting with us.
Is it a Friday night?
It's a Friday.
Starting on a Friday night to a Saturday.
Yeah, so if I was a viewer, I would look into the calendar, figure out your availability for the 12th and the 13th, book a plane, get in the car, grab the family, and come on up. Because when I tell you the lineup is insane, it is insane.
Wow. All right. So
that warehouse is the heartbeat of MAGA.
Yes.
Of the America First movement. It really is.
It is.
Yeah, Joe the Box does a great job of not only putting that together, but working with Aaron and Fran and Martin over there to really put together a quality Friday Night Live show. So I can imagine what we've got on tap coming up in September. That's very exciting stuff, Harry.
Huge. And shout out to Joe the Box.
Now you can stay.
Shout out to Joe the Box, because I've known Joe now for almost 2 years, 3 years. And I knew he had this incredible moving company. But it came to our move in D.C., and Joe came up, and in one day, him and his team moved us to our new studio. And unboxed everything and had us all ready to go the next day. It was incredible what Joe and the team did for us. Really got to see Joe. We see Joe as Joe the Box at the warehouse with the American flag. But to see him and his team doing what they do was just unbelievable. And a shout out to Joe and his brother and the entire team that helped us out.
Yeah. Vin, take it away.
Yeah, so Mark, something that has just been bugging me for quite a while, and it has to do with marketing, and it has to do with the conservative networks. I've been talking to a lot of ad agencies, brands, and others about why aren't you advertising more on not just Real America's Voice, but in general across the board? Like, how come I go on CNN and I see a Jaguar commercial, and you go on any of these other networks and you don't see that? And I get into these debates with some of these brand leaders and CMOs and some of the big agencies and so on. And I'm like, you know, we buy Jaguars too. We buy Cadillacs too. We buy Ford trucks too. We buy car insurance. We buy all this too. Like, why are you not advertising with us anymore? I am starting to see a slight shift there, but I'm curious from your vantage point, what do you think about that dynamic, number one? And then what do you think about the next couple of years and that changing?
Great question, Vin. Look, it's a simple answer. It's a rigged system. And you've got this entire ecosystem was put together by the left. First of all, it's a very, very complex business. You know a lot more about it than I do, the advertising business and the ad engines that are created to distribute ads to platforms such as ours. But what happened was the woke system put in place by the Biden administration in cahoots with social media companies and other media outlets is what put a thumb on the scale against conservative media. From NewsGuard to Check My Ads Institute to Media Matters, these companies were literally threatening big corporations if they advertised on platforms, conservative media outlets. It's a rigged system. Now, what we have going on is a big clapback against it. The FTC, it's in published news reports, is taking a look at Media Matters and even NewsGuard and examining what is going on here. Who do these people think they are to be picking winners and losers in the media space? Because what happens is you've got major companies making decisions, deciding not to advertise on conservative platforms.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting about that? It kind of piqued my memory a little bit, because I remember Elon Musk was complaining about this when he started losing advertisers, and he actually filed a lawsuit. According to this, lawsuit claims the influential ad industry group organized to collectively withhold billions of dollars of advertising from Twitter. The group he's suing is known as Global Alliance for Responsible Media. You like the last parts of that name, responsible media. Well, who decides what's responsible? I guess they do. Yeah. Also known as GARM, is a voluntary, unless they tell you different, ad industry initiative run by the World Federation of Advertisers. I wonder who's in charge of that. So you have these... I tell you, it's a scam. It's a total scam. And look, I'll build a parallel for you, too. You see all these corporations over this last several years were getting on board with DEI, with ESG, with the Human Rights Campaign and their Corporate Equality Index, looking for a 100% rating based on their transgender policy and other things. All these companies were getting on board. Why was that happening? It's because rating agencies were being pressured by these advocacy groups to be more fair, to be more equitable, and basically to flip the script on merit-based policies. And so banks got on board, and Wall Street got on board, and these ratings agencies got on board. So all these publicly traded companies bought into DEI and ESG because of all this pressure. There's a real parallel between that and the rigged system for advertising. There's a massive ecosystem that was created against conservative media. Thanks to November 2024, Donald Trump, the MAGA movement, RAV, we now are seeing a pushback against this. And sanity is coming back to advertising slowly, not quite there yet, and pushing back in the corporate boardroom against these policies. Yeah, because from what I understand, I remember some of these CEOs talking about it. They were all concerned with their GARM score. Oh, our score has to be this, or else, there's going to be we're not going to be allowed to do stuff. It's like, what are you talking about? You're talking about hundreds of prominent companies like CVS, Unilever, Mars, all these companies that were kind of being pushed around because, well, we don't want a bad score because then that could affect how people see us. Meanwhile, it was all garbage. It was all made up.
That's terrible. I see a big shift happening.
Vin would appreciate this more than anybody, Vin, is shareholder value was sort of lost in the mix as a result of it.
Completely. Well, look at Budweiser. I mean, look at what's going on with Cracker Barrel. I mean, it's look what happened. Even with Tesla, what they tried to do to Tesla and tried to hurt his shareholder value was like a purposeful move. But I do see it shifting, and I do see overall awakening here. What troubles me are the CMOs that are. There's a lot of woke CMOs out there that are not adjusting yet. But I see the whole movement that Trump has kind of fostered here, fostering this change now. So I think good days are ahead for a lot of us in the conservative space with regards to advertising and so on.
Yeah.
Well, and look, thank goodness we had the fortitude of Rav and similar media outlets to stick through it. Because, look, it wasn't easy in 2021 and 22 and 23 when all these advertisers were being chased away. It wasn't easy. So it took a lot of fortitude to survive that.
Yeah. And you know what? And the loud voices of, not only the people here, but across, the conservative side, like you were saying, Mark, for the last few years, we're kind of taking our lumps, but powered through. And now we're on the other side, right?
Well, yeah. And look, faith, freedom, family, back. We are back.
Yep.
And we're not going to lose it again. We're not going to allow this insanity where, race was turned on its head and equity and all this stuff. Girls boys in girls sports and locker rooms. Here's the thing. You can always count on the left to do one thing: overreach.
Yes.
They always overdo it.
Yep, they always do.
100%.
And that's something we won't do. We won't run into the commercials with Mark Serrano. He's our brand new pal. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. The time you spent with us tonight, we totally appreciate it. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you live in a couple of weeks, maybe in September, right, Harry?
Yeah, I'm hoping.
You got it. Vin, thanks for having me. Rick, Harry, great to see you guys.
Great
Thank you.
to see you, too. We'll take a quick break. Be back live from Studio 6B. Stay there. That was awesome. Say goodbye, Mark. Thank you again, man. We appreciate it.
Goodbye, Mark.
See you later, Mark.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
Take it easy, man.
Good night.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
See ya.
That was cool. All right.
Yeah.
I'll come to you so you can unload.
Yeah. That's one really smart guy. Got his fingers on the pulse. Sees what's happening. I mean, that's why I was excited to have him on. I've been in meetings with him and I've heard him. And I was like, wow, be great to have him talking about some of these things and his viewpoints. And there's so much more. I mean, we could have him on again and really start talking about Russia and some other things,
That's pretty cool.
He done a lot of you guys were always on social, but Mark was always involved in like the election, inauguration night. He was always part of the panel.
Cool.
But you guys were on, so you never knew that. But yeah, no, he's a good guy. That is some hell of a mess. Aaron was worried about the one crumb I dropped down there, but if you would just see what's under this desk.
Well, now that you've been sitting there.
God. No, I didn't mean
me.
Batteries,
you mean
tissues.
you mean Slick, not me.
Oh, that's Slick.
Shh.
You haven't found like a roast beef sandwich down there, did you?
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Looks like a squirrel nest under there.
Laura Rose, how are you? I did mention your name.
Broom?
It's terrible.
Oh.
Harry with a broom.
Terrible.
Harry's cleaning. Hi, this is Harry's cleaning service. May I help you? Yep, be right there.
I may take out a camera or two as I'm going around these wires, but at least it's clean.
Yeah, at least we'll be clean when we're off.
I see a
Laura Rose. I was just mentioning your name because you were mentioning something about our guest that we just had, and you liked him, and I was just saying thank you for that. So awesome. Greta Garbo's on. Greta made it. No cornfields are getting plowed tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Greta Garbo's here.
Birch Gold and AMAC.
Speed, right?
Yeah. No, this is what I got from Fran. 822.25. Okay. Yes. Chat live in the chat. Goodness. A freaking disaster. Harry's sweeping behind me, trying to clean up the remnants of my career.
He can't help himself.
Thank you, Harry. Anyhow, the continued divide between Trump and the Federal Reserve is putting us behind the curve, and Harry's here cleaning up. But can the Fed take the right action at the right time, or are we going to be looking at a potential economic slowdown? And what does that mean for you and your savings? Well, consider diversifying into gold. Just to make sure, Birch Gold Group is here for you. For decades, gold has been viewed as a safe haven in terms of economic stagnation, global uncertainty, and high inflation, and it's available to you now. The Birch Gold Group makes it incredibly easy for you to diversify some of your savings into gold. If you've got an IRA or an old 401k, you can convert that into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or you can also just buy some gold and keep it with you in your safe. First, get educated by reaching out to Birch Gold. They're going to send you a free info kit on gold. Just text America to 989898. That's America to 989898 and get your free gold kit, free info kit on gold from Birch Gold. Consider diversifying a portion of your savings into gold. That way, if the Fed can't stay ahead of the curve, at least you can stay ahead for yourself and for your family. So text Birch Gold America to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold from Birch Gold. All right, folks, here's the deal. If you care about the country, and we know you do because you're tuned in, and want to do something that actually matters, and we've talked to these people a lot, the Association of Mature American Citizens, you know them also as AMAC. AMAC is the conservative alternative to AARP. Who needs them anyway? They're fighting for a common sense cause. We're talking about AMAC, that is, pro-America policies and helping everyday patriots take a stand. Membership comes with great perks as well. You get to enjoy exclusive discounts, powerful tools and resources, and their fantastic AMAC magazine that tells you the truth about what's really going on in this country. You can join AMAC for as little as $1.20 a month. That's $1.20 a month, 120 pennies a month, with a 5-year membership. Not a bad deal. I'd say a great deal. It's the greatest deal ever. Head to amac.us/Studio6B. That's amac.us/Studio6B and become part of something bigger, because America needs you, and AMAC can help you as well. Go to amac.us/Studio6B. And again, I just want to throw our thanks out to not only the people in the chats. We got our Rumblers, we got our YouTubers, our Twixers over on Twix, the Facebook people, the Geta chat, the chatterbaiters, I like to call them. Everybody that chats and joins us on the socials. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. I know Rav appreciates it. Vin mentioned it before as well. But we just want to make sure that you guys know we love having you out there, and we love the interaction. Also, thanks to our new buddy, Mark Serrano. He's going to be back. Hopefully, he'll be back sooner rather than later, and we can have some fun with him again. Vinny Mac is down in West Palm, but that doesn't mean he stopped thinking about what he's got going on. Vin, what's on your mind? What has been bugging you?
Yeah, I saw a story today that really got to me, because we lived through how the media threw gas on the fire and really ignited the summer of love. You know, remember all those riots, the burning down of cities and buildings, and the looting and the rioting all over some of this nonsense.
Good times. Good times.
Good times. Yeah. Well, the media enabled that. They put gas on the fire, and they've been doing the same thing here about ICE and our ICE agents. And it was only a matter of time before, that turned into violence or something, even worse than violence, that someone actually gets really, really hurt, a family member or one of the ICE agents. And that's what happened in San Francisco. A mob of these protesters, some of whom had knives, went after our ICE agents, and not only went after them, but threatened their families as well. That whole crazy show the left puts on about when the ICE agents are wearing their masks and all that. Take off your mask. What are you afraid of? Well, we're afraid of you lunatics. You on the left that want to come to our houses if you're an ICE agent and threaten our families. That's what they're afraid of. So they're wearing masks for that reason. And here it is, case in point, San Francisco, an armed mob, many of them had knives, threatening them, going after them, trying to shut them down, and threatening their families. And I just thought it was worth noting because this is probably not going to be the last time it's going to happen. Typical, it's happening in San Francisco. So expect this in Chicago, San Francisco, LA, and New York City. I mean, it's just going to be par for the course. But who's to blame here? The media has amplified that situation and that hate against ICE. And by the way, ICE are just police officers in a way. Yeah. They're just there enforcing the laws that was voted on as laws. They're not doing anything. They're not rounding people up for no reason. They're enforcing the laws. But the left has created real danger for them. I thought it was an interesting story. Rick, what do you think about this?
Well, you know what? It's funny that you bring that up because there was a story about a week ago on Just the News, on John Solomon's justthenews.com, that I never got to, but I wanted to, and I'm glad that I'm glad that you brought that up because the Department of Homeland Security last Friday, confirmed reports that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was moved into military housing, Vin, for safety reasons after she got doxxed by who? The media. Yes. Wow. The scumbag deep state media. Noem was moved into the home earlier this year, which is normally occupied by the new United States Coast Guard's top admiral, and also, I guess, who's also been targeted is Tricia McLaughlin. Slammed the outlet for what they've done in terms of trying to expose Kristi Noem. The media docked Secretary Noem's precise apartment location, and she faces daily death threats, including from terrorist organizations, cartels, and criminal rings. But you know what? It's the Democrats. This is what they do, right? They march around. It's that whole thing. It's like accuse the other what you're actually doing, right?
Yeah,
we see that.
They thrive on the violence.
Yeah,
they thrive on the violence, and they thrive on the division. It's like the entire party functions on violence and division. Everything they do is just so un-American. It's so anti what we really stand for. Everything. It's crazy how they have anybody that still supports them.
Yeah. What's crazy too, Vin, is that, and this is to you because you have a lot of your Democratic friends that you often spar with on Facebook that you talk about. And do you ever bring this up to them? Like, what do you guys, do you support, do you ever ask them, do they support all this violence? Because it's all violence, it seems like, coming from the left. There's always screaming, there's always yelling, there's always wanting to kill, there's always nonsensical, like, lunacy coming from the left. Do you ever ask these people about it? Because it's crazy.
I do ask them, and the answer I get is, well, you don't know the whole story. Trump did this or Trump said that. And, there are peaceful people on both sides. Like, you get the brainwashed answers that it's almost like you're memorizing for a test in school and all you remember are the answers. You're like, it's the same thing here. And I've been calling out since 2015 the systematic brainwashing of part of our society. And it's done very effectively, frankly, because to the point you just made, it defies all logic how anybody can see some of these things in a way that they're seeing violence, seeing division, going after officers, trying to arrest criminals and doing these things. And what else? The only conclusion I could come to is they're brainwashed because we've seen it. It seems to be the only answer I could come up with.
And somehow they find a way to justify it to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They do.
But it's okay because Orange Man bad.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my left-leaning friends, and Doug, and he he and I were talking about a lot of this new information coming out of it with Trump and Russiagate and all this kind of stuff. And rather than say, yeah, I'm starting to see, maybe there's a little something there, give me a little inch or two here. It was just, well, no, let's just let it play out. I don't, he colluded with the Russians. The Mueller report said he clearly colluded with the Russians, and all this stuff. And I'm like, are you reading like the actual emails and text messages?
And not only that, but the Mueller report actually said he didn't. Said him or no one from the campaign colluded with the Russians. That's what they know.
That and what they have heard is Paul Manafort.
Right. All they go with is the media headline.
Yeah. So anyway, I was outraged by that. Here's some good news, and news we've been waiting for, and news that I think is going to happen. Yeah, well, by the way, I think Kevin Downey Jr. is like this. Every day's Christmas, with Trump in office, because so many good things are happening. It's amazing, isn't it? Every morning I wake up, and we're trying to cover stories here on the show, and it's like 7 or 8 things that just happen. And you're like, oh, wow, like he's doing all these great things. There's some controversies going here and there, but the Fed is signaling they might be lowering interest rates in September. So the pressure Trump's been putting on the Fed chairman and others in the Fed is obviously working. I had thought in the fall they would lower rates, all that to move into the next Fed chairman who's going to lower rates further. And what does that mean? Paul and I have been on this big time because we both are looking at 2026 as probably one of the biggest economic accelerations we've ever seen in our economy. And I say ever. I was around during those dot-com booms and others. We've never seen trillions of dollars invested in our country from foreign countries, building factories everywhere. We've never seen Trump making deals or any president making deals where our country now owns 10% of Intel.
Right.
It's worth a couple of $1 billion. Think about that. Here's a chip maker that we just flipped the script. Those chips are being made in Taiwan and overseas. They're going to be made here, and we got 10% of the company. All of these things are happening. Tariffs are settling out. Costs are going down, and if the Feds do what they're supposed to, interest rates come down, we will see some of the best economic times we've ever seen in this country for many, many years. So I'm really happy to see that the fall, we're going to start swinging into that mode. And the markets reacted today. I mean, it was a big day on Wall Street.
Big day when it comes to Wall Street and seeing the market swing like that, even with, all this talk of, oh, my goodness, the doom and gloom coming from the left. But the tariffs. They just can't get over the fact that they're wrong every single day. It's wonderful.
Every day. And how about this about the tariffs? It's paying the debt down a little. I saw some numbers today. I'm not sure. I have to really verify if they're accurate, but there's some, significant numbers. When we talk about the tariffs and the money they're bringing in, it's, it's 200 billion, 500 billion, 100 billion, but they're adding up all these months, and they're adding up to the T word, trillions. And, how can you be upset if we're paying down the debt? In 7 months, we're starting to pay it down. Like, we got to cut our spending big time, but man, we're making a dent here. That's all good news.
Yeah, but not for the Democrats, because it's gonna just it's terrible to pay down debt. It's terrible to put criminals in jail. It's terrible to have girls compete against girls. It's terrible for common sense when it comes to Democrats. That's what we're left with when it comes from the left. Yeah. Amazing. All right, we'll take a quick break. Man, it's been a fast Friday night show. One more segment left. Yeah. West Palm Vinnie Mac will be joining us in the chat one last time. So if you're in the chat, say hello to Vin. Find him, follow him. I'll do the same. I'll jump in there. Check out what everybody's saying. We'll take one more break. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Stay there.
Vindication. Heavy metal night with Fran over here tonight. I mean, wow. He is really going for it, man. I love it. Harry, you done sweeping, or can you armor all the chairs or something?
There's so much more I could. Well, I'm off this whole week. I'll be here, so I'll clean.
I love it. I love it. Right. So much to do, huh? This is what happens when you go out of town, Harry.
So little to say.
Oh, good. He's singing.
Chat, 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 chat. I think it's all the. I had Rick's gummy bags. I'm really attacking his thing, and I think it's all the sugar right now.
Harry's bouncing off the walls.
I am.
I do want to do.
And now I got coffee.
I want to give a call out to Kathy Turner.
You really care
Kathy
about
Turner?
me. Oh, man.
What's it going to look like?
Like a I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say that word.
You know what? Trump says it now, so we could say it.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
Did he
does.
really?
He what do you call it? He truthed it out.
He used the R word, really?
Yeah. I think he did.
Oh, okay.
Chat live in the chat. We got a super chat from Morm361. That's Morm361. $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. $10 super chat. Buy your own. Whatever that means. I don't know.
Hey, I can relate to this. Kathy Turner's on, and she said, I'm having a very hard time with my family. It hurts because they were very backwards and just wired wrong. I'm the one they think supports a racist, pedophile, fascist. Imagine that language, by the way. Calling a family member that because you support Trump. She says, I'm trying to figure out what to do. I don't listen to it all. They call Trump a pedophile all day long. How do you handle that? You know, I feel like it's almost a therapy session every time if you got to deal with family members like this.
Yeah. You know what? Ask them, why is it so important that I believe you? Ask that question.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you that I believe you? Because everything else I've seen doesn't support what you're saying. So why should I believe you?
I hear the same thing, by the way.
You ask questions
when people come at me.
Yeah, you ask questions like that.
You support a pedophile.
You ask questions like that to people, and it'll stop them in their tracks. They'll be like, huh?
Or like I was doing at DNC when they were saying, "Hey, we're for Kamala, and I said, "Well, just do okay. I'm listening. What has she done?
Right.
Tell me one thing." And they give you that stare.
Yeah. Like how?
And it's like, well, they don't have that in the playbook. I said, no, really, I'm all ears. Try to convince me on why I should vote for her.
Right.
And they just walk away and they stomp and they leave. And
live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night. Welcome back to the program. One last segment. It's been a fast show. We want to throw out a big thank you to Mark Serrano for joining us from Washington, D.C. New friend of the show. So we appreciate that, him taking the time on a Friday night to come on, and thanks to Vin for setting that up, because Vin's rubbing shoulders and squeezing babies and doing whatever he does down there. Trying to.
How you doing?
Hey, he's over at Benny's on the beach. Oh, hey,
squeezing babies, whatever, kissing babies, shaking hands, shaking babies.
I'm doing something.
Hands. Yeah, whatever you do, keep doing it. Because we got now we can count Mark Serrano as a
good friend. He's always been a good friend to the show. There's many good friends you have to the show. I keep trying to tell you, and you guys don't get it. Well, there's so many.
You
people.
say that to Damon, and Damon laughs at you.
Okay, until you know what, you're right. Damon would laugh at me until he went to Nashville that one time, and we were there with the morning show, and Damon came just as a spectator. And how many people from that audience was coming up to Damon and saying, we love the show, we love you. And it's like, okay, this is what I hear every time I'm on the road. And I'm barely on this show. And people will come up to me and tell me the same thing.
People talk about you all the time. They're like, when is Harry not going to be on the show again? No, they're always asking about you.
Where's Harry?
Okay.
That's what they say. Where's Harry?
Get
off the couch, Harry.
Get off the couch. So I got a question since we're in the last hour here, last block, I should say.
All right.
So I've been traveling a lot. Have you all been noticing more masks popping up? Because I'm noticing more and more people wearing masks on planes, in airports, working in buildings, the streets. All joking aside.
You know what? I'm not traveling, but I'm in a consolidated area as opposed to you. You said you've been traveling a lot. And so you're seeing a lot more wackos than I normally see.
Yeah.
Like my wacko exposure is very low.
And I get it.
Because I surround myself with people that aren't wackos, but you don't have a choice if you're out there in the public in the wild.
Yes.
You see wackos in their natural habitat being wacky, wearing masks at airports or in cars by themselves, talking to themselves, maybe running around in their underwear. I don't know what you do, Harry.
I will, and there is that 2% that do need to wear a mask, right? Because my daughter obviously said, hey, Dad, the reason why this lady's wearing a mask is because her husband has cancer and she doesn't. Okay. So I said, you're right, Ash. I didn't realize that. But the other, times you're just seeing these husband and wives and kids. And I was on the plane coming back here. So they were living on Long Island. They were coming from Baltimore to Long Island. It was mom, dad, and 5 kids. All had masks. All had masks.
See, now that's just
the flight attendants had masks. And I'm like, what's going on?
That's child abuse. You don't put a kid in a mask. They have the best immune
system ever. Yeah.
Right. And you're gonna
see it too.
You're gonna suffer.
Are you seeing it too, Vin? Because you travel all over the place too.
Yeah, when you're jumping on planes and going places like we are, and you get out of sort of your little network of folks, I mean, that's what I'm seeing too. I'm seeing more masks, and I sit on a flight and I look to my left, I see someone wearing a mask through the whole flight, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Maybe there's an extreme situation like you just noted.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm seeing more masks. I don't know. It just, I was in LA not too long ago, and I still see people driving with the mask on. So, it's just one of those things. People are still freaked out over whatever, COVID or whatever they think they're going to get.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? I can't get my mind around that one. Real quick, what was the earlier story? Kilmer Abrego. I forgot to, we kind of touched on this, but Kristi Noem is torching the activist liberal judges that have released Kilmer Abrego Garcia, released him from jail, calling it a new low, released from custody. And again, it's the attack of the liberal judges on the American people and just releasing some of the worst criminal illegals. We know this guy's history. They have it now. It's exposed. We all know what he's been up to the last 6, 7, 8 years. Not good stuff. But here they are. This is the left. They refuse to let go of their narrative, no matter how bad it is. They'd much rather have an MS-13 gang member out there just so they can say, look, Trump can't get rid of this guy, right?
That's not only true, but they have several lines of defense. How they set up their lines of defense, at least. They've used the media. That's a line of defense for them. They have these judges. So when they're losing, like they're losing now big time, they're losing every day. There's crazy stories like this where anyone with any common sense is like, are you crazy? These are criminals. That you're protecting and letting out of jail. They have all these lines of defense. How many times have we seen these left-wing judges being advocates for some of these crazy left-wing policies instead of just ruling on the law? And that's their lines of defense. They still have them. We have work to do here, folks.
Yeah,
we have got a lot of work to do still with these judges. And that's, to me, that's the last line, because the media, they're losing.
Yeah,
they're just losing. That these judges now. We're winning too on the judge thing, but we got to win more.
Yeah, definitely have to win more. As a matter of fact, President Trump is winning more. Here's another resident of Washington, D.C., who seems to like what President Trump is doing. And guess what? This person is not 70. They haven't been bussed in from another city, and they actually have a brain. Here's cut 3. Check this out.
With wealthy liberals, progressive protesters, and Democrat politicians that continue to say that Washington, D.C. is safe.
They don't have to deal with the crime in the other areas. They have better stores, better protection, police protection. This area right here, around here by Hecker Jamal, I wouldn't want my grandchildren to walk around here. They live in this area, not far.
So what's your message to President Trump if he sees this?
I love you and keep up the good work, and thank you for all of what you're doing. God bless you.
Yeah.
I love it. It's true.
Those are actual D.C. residents who love what they're seeing.
Yeah.
She talks about her grandkids. She wouldn't want her grandkids walking around there. She doesn't even want to walk around there.
I didn't want to walk around.
That's what real people say. Real people, when you talk to them in the street, not Democratic polling, not any of the pundits on TV, real people, and I think, Harry, you and I have both been in Washington a lot of times.
Yeah.
There's homeless everywhere.
Everywhere.
You're looking over your shoulder at every corner. When people say they're not, when Trump says people aren't going out to dinner, they're not. A lot of the restaurants are empty unless there's some international conference where they sweep the entire city to make sure it's safe for all the international diplomats coming in, and then it goes right back to the nonsense.
Right.
So,
they're still tense. I'm going back there in a couple of weeks. I'll take some videos if they're still out, if maybe they've been cleaned up. But there are areas like right before you get to the White House, there's 9 tents.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they have bottle gas, for cooking, and they're able to hook up to the electric street lights, and plugs, and it's whoa. It's crazy. It really is.
Yeah, I've seen some of those pictures. Hey, real quick, we've only got about a minute left here. I did want to share this with you. Remember how I said this AI stuff, and it's gonna basically take over, and it's gonna destroy us.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill us all. I don't know. I came across some video yesterday. I sent 2 different clips to Erin that we never got to. But I'm glad that we didn't, because somebody else took those 2 exact clips that I sent to her yesterday and combined them into one. And check this out. When they say President Biden maybe wasn't really in charge and wasn't doing anything, maybe we see what they're talking about. Don't they walk somewhat similar? Is he the first, humanoid robot?
I go back to elder abuse.
That they put skin on
exactly
and just
right.
said, here, let's just walk this out here. Let's let this guy be president.
Elder abuse.
What are you going to say to Trump on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Nothing. Because he can't walk or talk.
It's terrible.
All right. I thought I'd play that. So I saw that robot walking. I'm like, that looks like Joe Biden. It is Joe Biden. Anyhow, thank you for watching. As always, we salute our military, active and retired, our first responders, EMT, firefighters, police, ICE agents, Border Patrol, everybody working the front lines. We totally, completely appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. You people at home, of course, everybody in the chats, thank you so much. Aaron and Fran in the booth. Harry on the highway got off the highway, pulled into the studio, and joined us. Vinny down in West Palm Beach. And, of course, you guys watching. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your great weekend. We will see you on Monday night as we do this once again, live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Monday night. It's coming. Enjoy your weekend. See ya. Peace.